depending upon where you live, there are different rules. And there are some people who do not have to jump through hoops to vote. And then there are other people, depending upon where you live, where you have to jump through different hoops, fill out different forms, go find birth certificates and other things to prove who you are. Whereas, when I live in New York, I show up at the voting precinct, I sign my name, they look at it, see if my signature matches, and I get my ballot and I go on my merry way. And so I think it's a comment on a system that, fairly allows states to set up their own rules, but when the rules are designed to provide added burdens to particular communities, we have to be skeptical about why that is and have protections in place to prevent that. I think it's also a comment on the fact that, our Supreme Court has oftentimes prevented us from implementing remedies before elections, even when we've had decisions that say that laws they're trying to implement are going to harm voters, because they say we can't change the rules too close to an election. And I think this Aragonés case is an example where the Supreme Court issued a decision where the rules were changed really close to an election in a way that is leading to confusion, both on behalf of voters and election administrators, because of outcomes. And so I think it's just a comment on this maze that people have to jump through depending upon who you are. And the maze impacts different people depending upon if you have to work, depending upon when you were born, where you were born, what documents you have. It depends on if you think you're going to be policed for having to justify who you are to an election administration official. It depends upon if you are one of the people who is hearing on the news that certain communities of people commit fraud, and you're like, I just don't want to engage in this process because these rules are being set up in order to potentially criminalize me for participating. So I think we just shouldn't have a system where certain people can run towards the finish line to vote without having to jump over hurdles. Where